Sup? So I watched Kate, the Netflix movie with Mary Elizabeth. I don't know how to pronounce her last name correctly, so I'm not going to. But we all know who she is. I'm gonna be honest. When I saw that she was in this movie, I didn't care what that movie was about. I was like, I'm gonna watch it because she's in it. So yeah. But then obviously I saw the trailer and I was like, okay. Now obviously spoilers ahead because we're gonna talk about the movie, so I'm gonna spoil it. The first thing, the elephant in the room. I know I'm gonna sound so like naive, but when they're like, she only has 24 hours to live, she's gonna die, and they reiterate that she's gonna die in her last time, tell me why, when she died, I was like, she died? What? I was expecting Kojima, is that what his name is? To like have like cure for some reason with plutonium, whatever they injected her with. And no. Okay, so when this movie started, I was immediately hooked because of just like the music, the relationship with between V and what Kate. I almost like literally her name's in the title, and I was about to be like, what was her name? Um, and I was immediately like, okay, this movie. And then her like no kid rule, and even though she is like an assassin that apparently has been an assassin, she's been like since she's been like what 7 or something, like since she's a child, she still has like her own set of morals, so to say, and I did feel let down with the ending just because I don't know, I was expecting more like emotional stuff, even though it really was sad. And then you have like Ari, Annie, Annie, Annie. I think it was Annie. Yeah, I think. I'm so sorry. Just like holding her and crying and telling her that it was gonna be okay. But like I was expecting, I don't know, more like dialogue from Kate, even though she was very severely wounded and like I don't know how her body was surviving. But the whole like plot twist, I maybe some people did see it coming. I did not. I was like, and I was like, why can't they show us the pictures? I was waiting for the shot of like obviously it did like a what's it called when they show the past? You know what I mean? A flashback of like or like deducing that B killed her parents for some reason. Like it's not they don't really explain a lot, which I don't know if it bothers me or not. I mean, personally, I would have loved to know a little bit more, but like, I don't think it bothers me because it's still you're still able to deduce things, right? So we get to understand that V killed her parents to kind of like stay with her, but we don't know if he does this with other girls, and we don't know if it's like part of like or an organization, kind of like Black Widow type of thing where they like abduct girls, but we see only her. But there has to be more like assassins. Surely there's more kids and stuff. So, but they only focus on Kate, and because V is like, I'm your mother and your father and your best friend, and these whole entire flashbacks of like him coaching her and her like getting the strength from it, like when she's on the ground and he's like, you use that pain to like be better, and it just hurts more when you see her just emotionally break to realize that the man that she has trusted for like 30 years or something completely betrayed her trust. And this whole fake of like, oh, we can find a solution, how poisoned you, even though he knew, and apparently it was all a big mistake because she wanted to like retire because obviously she just didn't find meaning in her life anymore. And then he was like, if I could have made her stay. And the other guy, Renji, was like, oh, sorry, I guess. It happened. What? And I really loved the action sequences. Like, they did not shy away from blood. They did not shy away from showing everything. Like, I saw a knife go up into a man's, like, jaw, or whatever whatever this part is, up to his nose. Like, they were just like, we're gonna show you. Like, it was kind of like John Wick, but it didn't feel like a John Wick copy, because I have seen some reviews being like, oh my god, it's kind of like John Wick. It's not. I mean, it's not. I guess if you have like an assassin who's like very well trained in the fight sequence, like John Wick does. Like from what I remember, the first one, I think I watched the second one. I don't remember. They don't shy away from showing like the gore, I guess. So this one doesn't either. But I really liked. I think her name is Annie. I think, but she's a niece of Kojima, and she's like the girl who witnesses her father die. And this whole entire time, I'm like, oh my god, doesn't she feel bad that she's literally with like the kid who she emotionally like scarred? And you notice these moments that she isn't, because she's not like the average human. Like she can like turn off her emotions. I mean, yeah, she starts, you know, feeling for this girl and being like, you need to be strong, blah blah, but she's not being there like, I'm so guilty. And not until the end, when she realized that her whole life is a lie, and that I assume that before she saw herself as an equal, and now she just realized that she truly was just a tool. And it's kind of ironic that Kojima was like, why would I kill you? You were just a tool. Like, you were nothing in essence to me, even though you killed my brother. And then she had this realization of like, what? Which is true. Like, you know, yes, she did kill someone, but at the end, she's just a weapon. She doesn't really. I mean, I guess like that could be a whole dialogue on its own, you know, of like, you know, even though she is dedicated to her craft, because she chased Kojima when she actually shot him in the arm. She chased him to like kill him, and she was not doing good. And I thought it was hilarious when Renji and Kojima. Renji's like, I'm the young one, and you know, this is business, and you're just a thug. And this man decapitates him in 2 seconds. And I'm like, that's why he's the boss. If you want to, like, if you are interested in beautiful women beating people up, there's no good people, by the way. All these people, well, I guess Annie, she's, you know, a child. She's the only one who's, like, innocent, even though she cleaves someone to death, but she's the only, like, innocent one. But everyone else, there's, like, no good guys. Like, the whole, like, it just is, you know. And so, if you're interested in that, like, I understand the appeal, and I recommend everyone to go watch it twice, 3 times, because seeing Mary Elizabeth just bloodied and just fighting people, I was like, this is the movie. This was the movie. But yeah, when he has this whole, like, near the end, when he's like, I loved her and she's family and you almost killed her and blah blah, and then he confronts her and is like, you know, things happen, you know, I loved you or whatever, and she's just like, you only loved yourself. And I wonder if he truly believed that he cared for her and that he loved her, and that, you know, he was, because even when he goes to pick up Annie, he betrays Kate in a way, because he tells her like, hey, did you know Kate killed your dad? And then Annie just freaking shoots Kate. Annie's gonna be traumatized for life. I mean, you know, she thinks her uncle killed her dad, and then she thinks her uncle almost killed her, and then she finds out this woman who, like, literally she bonded with her and basically, you know, compared her to her mom, and so she was badass, and that she was a Terminator, and she was an assassin, turns out to be the killer of her father. And then she goes with these random guys, because she has no one, and, you know, and I think some people will be like, well, why did she go with him? Well, one, she had no one left. Like, she thought that she was by herself, that everyone in her family wanted to kill her. She thought that, Kate had killed her uncle, so she had no one. So she's like, okay, well, might as well go with this random man who's saying that, you know, he'll keep me safe, or I don't know what spiel he, like, sold her on. And then, you know, Kate is trying to explain to her that they're just tools, that they're no one, and then Kojima's just like, I got your medicine. She's like, I can, you know, I can resist an hour. And her body went through it. Like, this woman was stabbed, this woman was punched, this woman was, like, stabbed, like, in an arm and everywhere, like, shot in the leg, and she was still going. And then when, the flashback where, V is like, if you want, shoot someone in the stomach if you want them to feel, like, pain and know that it was personal. And then she shoots him in the stomach, and he's just like, good shot. and I think she also got shot in the stomach by him or something. I don't remember. But then the ending where she's being held by Ani because Ani, I think, listening to how V was talking about her like as a tool, and that this was like a thing. I think she realized that Kate was obviously not a victim as Ani, but she was a victim in a way and betrayed, and she did protect her. And I think it's a complicated feelings that you just can't like explain it, and I think her, like, the actress did a good way of portraying her having this like dilemma of caring for someone but knowing that this person, having this huge truth of that this person did irreparable harm to you, but also, how much could she hate her if she was dying and going to die? Like, okay, the person who killed, well, not supposedly, like, it was confirmed, killed her dad. Well, either way, she was dying. So, and then at the end, she's like, no, 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 like, don't die. And then she's just watching, like, the kitty just going, like, nee, 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 nee. And then she just takes her last breath, and that's it. I was kind of like, that's it? No, like, emotional speech to her, no, like, some words, nothing. I mean, I get it. Her body was probably, like, like, she was pushing it. And I really liked the part near the end when Kojima would just appear and help her, because she's still a person. That's what I like. They didn't make her up to be like a super assassin who's like a superhero in the sense of like she's invincible and no harm can be done to her. Like, no. She was still a human. She was still very grounded in reality. So when she got saved by others, it felt real because she, like I said, she's not invincible. She's not like the She-Hulk. So when she had moments where she was almost going to get like killed and someone else helped her, it was like, makes sense because there's like 30 guys, and she's heavily dying. But I really liked all the music. All the music was done very well. That it never took away from the fight scenes, never took away from like the emotional scenes. But yeah, the ending when it ended and it was just her dead, I was like, and it's sad when you think about it. Like, she wanted a family, she wanted a husband, she wanted kids, like she just wanted a life. She got to a point where, like, I guess the appeal or like the adrenaline of like, of her job just wasn't it. I think that happens to anyone. You have to shut off your emotions, even especially since she was trained as a child to be ruthless. And then when the scene where she's gonna shoot these guys at like a table, and she shoots and there's like no bullets, so then the other guys are just laughing at her, and she just grabs a knife and goes crazy, and then she tells him like there wasn't like loaded, and he's like, yeah, I know, that's what, that's what's supposed to happen. And so you realize how desensitized she was made to be throughout her whole life. But even then it got to a point where she just, because like even when she hooks up with the guy who like he thought he was roofing her and really he was like giving her severe like drugs or whatever, radiation thing, whatever he gave her. I don't know how he also didn't get like radiation poisoning of it. When he sleeps with her, she gives him money, and then she's like, okay, bye. Like, leave. Like, she just had nothing, and so to think that she had this moment of like, I'm gonna leave, and then the other guy told the wrong person or complained to the wrong person, and like, well, she's gonna leave, let's kill her. And he's like, it makes you wonder who was the voice that, like, obviously this dude has connections, he has a business or whatever, like V, I'm talking about V, right? Because someone calls her and it's a woman who's calling her, and she's like, window, or like, what's your window, what's your status, and like, go, or like 10 seconds, whatever, right? And so I'm like, that would have been cool to see, I guess. Maybe, well, I don't want a second movie, but it would have been cool to see like that aspect of it, like the what's that called? The word, like the business aspect of it, because they only showed us an abandoned well, not an abandoned building, but no one worked in it, so it would have been cool. And we see that he does this because he wants to get into the Yakuza, and he wants to get into this specific like clan for some reason. they don't really explain why. Kojima just says that that's like Western ideology, is to come over and just to take and take and take and then leave everything disgusting, and that the greed was because of Western infestation. Um, but they don't explain why he wants to be tied with the Yakuza, like to like. Oh, and the part that I loved was when you see Kate just like treading on after Kojima like offers his hand to help her up, and she just stands up by herself after being beaten and just thrown around, and she just goes like, I'm going, and he just has a smirk and smile on his face, and I think he was thinking, I should have, like, in another life, I could have hired her to be like my personal bodyguard, and she would have kept me 100% safe. But I'm glad she had that moment where she's like, you know what, she is worth it. Like, Ani was worth saving, and I think she saw herself in her, because like I said, we learned that her parents were killed, and she thought it had been someone else. In reality, it had been V, that killed her parents, and so she had this same trauma that she had, and she was trying to her what's it called, like her words, her advice of like, don't be less angry, take control of your life, don't hold on to this. Like basically, like if she was speaking to her younger self, and it was just like they did well in embedding like the emotional part, but also humor, because she's like, yeah, when Ani was like, I won't be here tomorrow, and she's like, yeah, me either. And but also being very serious, like it did really well, and I hate that people, like movie critics, are like, this is so bad, or like, oh, I don't get it. It's like, what? What do you mean? Like, it's an emotional, and I like that it didn't, like, her trauma and her experience were like trickled into the movie as like flashbacks, and it, like, in the beginning when you see these flashbacks, you're like, yeah, they teach her how to do everything, like and then when you learn the truth, you're like, oh my god, this, oh my god, oh my god. And that's the thing, is you cannot view it from your own, like, obviously she's an assassin, she kills people, like, yes, she has a rule of not killing kids, but even V says that sometimes it's collateral damage, sometimes it happens, right? So you cannot go from it from your own morals, because obviously then you're not going to support her, you're not going to want her to, like, succeed. And it's a movie, so everyone's a bad guy. Like, there's no good guys in here. And so yeah, like, I don't, but anyways, what was I saying? What was I gonna say? I was gonna say something. Oh yeah, no, I forgot. I really forgot, but yeah, I don't remember, so I think I'm just gonna leave it out there, because I can't remember what I was gonna say about the whole, like, moral dilemma of things, and, like, not liking the movie, because it's, like, it's Mary Elizabeth. Have you seen her? She's gorgeous, visually gorgeous. She's a great actress, and the humor, and, like, it was very well done, and I like that she had, I don't know if she, like, learned Japanese. Is this movie set in Japan? Yes, because they said Osaka. Yeah. I like that. I wonder if she already learned Japanese or she learned it from this movie. But I really like, because sometimes in films where you have like foreign actors or actresses living in like a foreign country and they always speak English, and I'm like, you're telling me that they couldn't even learn like, hi, how are you, or like whatever, like, or not even learning, you just repeat it. So I really like that they had her like speaking in Japanese, because it would make sense. She's a trained assassin. You're telling me she wouldn't learn the language? But anyways, I recommend this movie. I talked way too much about this movie, but yeah, I don't think they should make a second one. I think this one is perfect in the way it is. The concept was well done. I don't really know what else they could make out of it. I don't know what else they could, like, we'll check out this other assassin. Like, plus, it's not like John Wick. John Wick survived. Kate did not. Unless if they're gonna be like, cop out, she survived. Like, and they can't do that because, the doctor said there's literally no way for her to survive. There is no cure. So, yeah, that is my review or my thoughts or my critique of this movie. And my critique weighs more because it does. So yeah. Bye. Don't pay attention to movie critics. Literally always watch a movie first because some movie critics are like, "Oh god, this is so awful." And then you watch the movie and you're like, "I was heavily entertained." Or backwards. Movie critics are like, "This is the best thing in the world," and you watch it and it's like, "I paid to see this." So yeah, watch the movie on by yourself and tell me if you liked it. Even well, if you're watching this, I spoil the whole entire thing. But I mean, you already know she's gonna die. But I did spoil a twist. But anyways, if you're watching this, you probably already watched it. So tell me your thoughts. Let's all crush on Mary Elizabeth. I really hope they give her more roles like this where she's like kicking butt, because that would be phenomenal. Oh, I remember what I was gonna say. That I really like that they didn't ham up her abuse and they didn't show anything like super explicit, because then it just goes like, because it goes to a point where it's like, who is this for? Um, so yeah, I like that.